Welcome to the AceCall.ai podcast, where we help golf club managers win with AI. Running a golf club in today's world is harder than ever. So we created simple AI software and a podcast to make it easier for you. I'm Clayton Elliott.
And I'm Brad Milligan. Together, we bring a mix of entrepreneurial innovation and decades of golf club management experience to help you optimize your club, increase profitability, and elevate the member experience. So let's dive in.
Right on. Thanks, Brad. Well, today's episode is really all about kicking things off and introducing the AceCall.ai podcast and blog, as well as a little kind of intro to our software offering, AceCall.ai. We'll be talking about who we are, why we started this podcast and software, and what you can expect from us moving forward with this podcast and blog. If you're a general manager, a golf pro, food and beverage manager, or a golf club owner looking to take your club to the next level in 2025 and beyond, you are absolutely in the right place.
Exactly, Clay. We'll break down the big topics we'll be covering, from AI and automation to golf club management best practices. Plus, we'll talk about the real world challenges golf club managers are facing and how we can help solve them.
Yeah, exactly. So, before we dive into things, I also wanted to kind of just rewind. We'll quickly introduce ourselves. Again, I'm Clayton Elliott. I'm an entrepreneur at heart and have learned many valuable lessons the hard way over about 20 years, exploring and experimenting with different business ideas and opportunities. This is all with startups that I've worked on or worked for or started myself. Also through my coaching, my consulting work with other startups and entrepreneurs that I've worked with over the years. Although I have not successfully exited a business venture yet, I've learned plenty about business in my years in the trenches, and all this stuff that I learned, although it's only been in a handful of niches, it really does transfer to any business in any sector. There's enough commonalities across all business operations, and it's exciting. I'm very excited that I still have lots to learn, but that I also have a lot of valuable content to share. And I have very much been enjoying learning about the business of golf over the last year or so since we've been talking about this. I'm not a great golfer by any stretch of the imagination. I won't lie. I look forward to getting better, but I also look forward to getting out more and getting more practice now that golf is, my business focus for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's a really good relationship, kind of the back and forth there that we have, because I'm the kind of the golf expert and Clay's the more on the technical side of things. So we're definitely learning from each other. My name is Brad Milligan. I've spent the last 23 years working at private golf clubs. So I started in 2001 at Rosedale Golf Club as a back shop employee. I got my professional card and gained my Class A designation in 2014. Worked for a total of 17 years at Rosedale Golf and Country Club. I then worked at Scarborough Golf and Country Club for 6 years. I then did a short stint at Vesper Hills in Barrie last year before jumping into this with Clay. I've seen it all, everything from running tournaments and managing staff to handling the day-to-day challenges of club operations. Everyone knows about the glory and the glamour of golf, but I know about the gore and the guts it takes to make some clubs operate, especially when the season is in full swing. You're in peak season there. I have an intimate understanding of the major issues that all clubs experience, which is why I knew this was a great opportunity as we talked about it over and over. The more you shared about the tech and the more I saw how it could help golf clubs everywhere, the more I saw this as my new career path. I was sick of interacting with computers more than people, which is, what I love the most about the industry is interacting with people. It's a people game. So I really wanted to keep that side of things, build and grow relationships. I got into this business because I wanted to work on tech that could help staff interact with members more human to human and less with human to computers.
Right on. And it's the paradox of this, right? Is that over the years we have worked, computers have freed us from so many menial tasks, things that were done with paper, whole giant departments pushing paper around to make large operations and large companies, and even small companies operate. And computers came around, it freed us in many ways, so we can be more productive. But then there's also this shackling to the computer itself that doesn't, uh, it has its limitations. And
Yeah.
so the goal of this software that we're working on, the goal of the application for AI, how we see it is, to help uh, golf clubs, golf staff, management, increase and improve and innovate on the member experience and allow their staff to interact more with members, right? Like you said, which is the most
Hmm.
fulfilling part of the job.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah, and so essentially, you're the golf guy learning business and tech, and I'm the business guy, business tech guy learning golf. And so, we have great conversations. I can't, how many times we've had conversations when it's just
Yeah.
the two of us talking about this stuff. And I think to myself, like, man, I wish we were recording this. I wish we had
Yeah.
I wish we had, something recording this because this is a good podcast. And then whatever, conversation ends, we're on to the next topic or next conversation. But every time we talk about this stuff, I said, there's so much for us to learn about it. And we are
Hmm.
learning about it, but it would be a good podcast. It'd be a valuable podcast. And that's why this business and this podcast are such a great fit for the two of us. We bring two perspectives, like you mentioned, that come together from the business and entrepreneurship side of things, and then with the golf club management side of things to really help golf club managers win with AI, right? That's our goal, is to help golf club managers
Yeah.
win with AI.
100%. Yeah, my experience gives me a deep understanding of the challenges that clubs face, and basically your background brings fresh, innovative solutions that can help solve those challenges.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun. I know I'm going to learn a lot myself in the process,
Hmm.
and I'm looking forward to it. I know, you're going to learn a bunch too. It's going to be fun. We'll make it fun. We'll make sure it's fun for us and make sure it's entertaining and educational for those of you listening. This world is changing so fast. The tech is changing so fast. It's very hard to keep up with it all. And we hope to do our best to help you with that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a wild time for sure, right? We'll have more opportunities to talk about ourselves and our backstories through the many episodes ahead. If you are new here, hopefully that gives you a short summary of who these guys are speaking in your ear about golf and AI. So Clay, let's get into it. Why are we doing this? What's the purpose behind AceCall.ai podcast and blog?
Yeah, to simplify it, to really say fewer words, most golf clubs will need to modernize to survive, even if only a little bit. And we want to help them do that. It's not a
Hmm.
matter of if you'll use this, it's a matter of when you'll use this software.
That's right.
There's degrees, there's, different applications as we'll get into. The episodes ahead, we'll talk about a lot of different topics. But we created AceCall.ai. We created our software as a simple AI solution to a persistent problem and pain felt by all clubs that we discussed countless times. Too many missed calls. Some clubs admitted they're not answering the phone up to 70% of the time it rings on busy days during peak season. And members hate it. They get very frustrated. They get angry when staff don't answer the phone, when they're calling. The
Hmm.
golf clientele, depending on your club, they are um, they're a luxury market. They're luxury clientele. They have
Yep.
expectations and they're more than happy to pay for service, but especially when they're paying for that service, they expect that service. They don't expect
Hmm.
to be constantly getting voicemails or just endless phone ringing. Voicemails suck. Um, it sucks for the members. It sucks for the people calling. They don't like
Yep.
leaving voicemails and having to sit and wait and wait and wait. Did they listen to the voicemail? When will they return my voicemail? How do I know they even got the voicemail? And on the flip side, for the managers, um, managers don't let no one in any industry likes their voicemail box getting filled up when they can't get to it and having to
Yep.
sit there and listening to voicemail after voicemail after voicemail just to know why someone called. It's old tech. And the more we researched AI in golf, the more we saw that this tech is revolutionizing the golf industry in so many other ways, more than just the way we were applying it. We realized, we have so much to learn about this tech and how it applies to golf. Um, there's no possible way we can possibly know everything, nor is there any way we can create AI solutions. And
Yeah.
to add more value than just the software that we're creating, we created the Ace Call AI podcast and blog, so we can be ideally over time your one-stop shop for everything you need for AI-driven solutions for your golf club, from content and education, from learning and filling in the gaps in your knowledge, all the way to software and implementation. We hope to help you with everything through the customer journey. And many golf clubs, they're catching up on the tech, but way more, way more are still relying on old systems, manual processes, and inefficient operations that really do um, burn a lot of the staff out. There hasn't been a dire need for golf clubs to keep pace with all this, with all the latest tech advancements until now, really. And I said it before, I'll say it again, AI and automation are transforming industries, like all industries, all markets.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
we believe that golf club managers shouldn't get left behind as their industry changes too.
Yeah, and the golf industry is one of these industries that's always evolving, and tech is a big thing when it comes to golf. It's always been a big thing, and it's constantly evolving. So we see this podcast and blog as a way to bring valuable insights directly to club managers. We want to help them make their clubs more efficient, more profitable, and more enjoyable to run, to work at, and be a member of.
Yeah, exactly. We're not
Yeah,
just gonna be talking theory here. Like we're
yeah,
gonna some episodes, this tech is changing so fast. So a lot of the stuff we will be talking about technically is in the realm of theories and speculation about
hmm,
where this tech is going and what it could do.
hmm,
It sounds very visionary and very lofty, um, which is important to kind of wrap your head around where it's
yeah,
going. With any technology, the initial sound of it sounds insane, lofty, dreamy. It's way too out there for people to wrap their head around. And then
yeah,
eventually it's ubiquitous. It's normal. Like email. There was a time in the past when somebody did a big presentation in front of a group of thousands of people and says there will be a future where we will send mail electronically. People were like, "Get out
hmm,
of here! No way!" And now
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's it's just the norm. And so
yeah.
if you want to wait until it's the absolute norm and everybody has it and it's safe to move, then that's your choice. You can listen to this podcast, but I don't think listening to this podcast is going to make you want to sit and wait to the very, very last moment to move. I think it's going to make you want to start dipping your toe in and seeing what makes sense for you and your club. So as much as we'll be talking about theories and getting out there with speculation, we'll also be giving lots of actionable strategies that you can start using right away in real time in your club uh,
Hmm.
to get some wins with AI. So let's shift. Let's make a little shift to the next section. We'll talk about all the kinds of topics we'll be covering. Brad,
Awesome.
what would you say is one of the biggest challenges that club managers face that we will be addressing in this show?
Well, I mean, member experience is huge, right? It's paramount. You have to keep your members happy. You have to keep them involved, engaged. It's absolutely massive. It's the most important thing, right? If you're at a private club, if you're running a private club, that one noisy member can be a massive problem, and we all know this. Having worked at golf courses, private golf clubs, is that problem member, and don't want to name them on here, but everybody knows these people, right? So we have to keep our member experience very high and people engaged, right? So clubs are struggling to keep members engaged and happy, right? So we'll dive into how AI can personalize member interactions, automate bookings, and improve overall service quality.
That's cool. And yeah, like there's the one trouble member that
Hmm.
can put a damper on the member experience, but it's things like the phone being answered in a timely and calls being returned in a timely fashion. It's
Oh, for
about
sure.
it's about the food,
Yep.
readiness. Like, someone wants a meal. Do they have to wait an hour to get a meal? Do they um the clean towels? Is the bathroom in good shape? Everything goes into the
Hmm.
member experience. And there are countless applications of how AI can apply to that. I think,
Yep.
like you mentioned, though, interactions with the club, bookings, service quality. This is some of the topics we're going to dig into how AI can improve the overall member experience. There's also efficiency. A lot of
Yeah.
clubs, we're going to dig into AI and operational efficiency of golf clubs. A lot of clubs are drowning up to their ears in
Hmm.
administrative work, staff scheduling, answering calls, managing events. It's every one of these activities has anywhere from one to multiple steps, emails, action items for every one event, every
Hmm.
uh, one member, right? And so there's so much inefficiencies. There's so much human errors and inefficiencies. AI can automate a lot of that, freeing up
Hmm.
time for general
Yep.
managers and other golf club managers to focus on more bigger picture strategies that work, but also that face-to-face member experience that lacks when staff are stuck drowning in
Yeah.
administrative work, right?
Well, yeah, that's just it, right? We'll also talk about profitability, right? How clubs can cut costs without cutting corners, increase their revenue, because I mean it is about the bottom line here, right? Through smart data insights, and obviously create long-term sustainability. We want these clubs to be around for, hundreds of years in the future, right? We want these classic clubs to keep moving forward and grow with the trends out there, right?
Exactly. It's you nailed it. It's profitability. We
Hmm.
want to not lose sight that these businesses, unless they are operating as charities, unless they do have huge, what do you call them, endowments, like
Yeah.
huge funds that just can float these things for 100 more years, even if they don't make a dollar. It's like that's
Hmm.
not how any club can operate, whether they have big pockets, in the long run. Maybe in the short run they
Yeah.
can do that, but you're just,
Yeah.
keeping something on life support out of your own pocket. So we want to make sure that
Exactly.
AI and everything we're teaching by AI can definitely help with uh, educating you, the listener, with profitability in mind. Because if you're an owner, you're in this to make a profit. If you're a manager, you're in it to make your owners a profit. And if you can't make them a profit, if you're costing them money and they're losing money, you won't be a manager there for very long, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the
So
truth.
it's got to make sense. Let's say if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
You got it,
So
man. You got it.
forget where I heard that one, but and we're
Yeah.
also we're also bringing in industry experts too as well.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
looking forward to this one. This is a recurring episode theme. We'll be calling it tentatively for now just the golf manager spotlight or the GM spotlight. And these interviews, we're going to learn directly from the industry's best club managers about their best practices, about how they run their clubs, how they maximize member retention, their tough life lessons learned from
Hmm.
career wins and losses, as well as how they're adopting tech, as well as how they're implementing AI solutions and automation solutions into their club to, increase profitability, member experience, and efficiencies across the board. I think Brad and I, can both admit we don't know what we don't know, and that's much greater than what we do know. But we
Hmm.
also know, to be tapping into these smarter people can fill in a lot of the gaps in our knowledge, and just the conversations that we're having can be valuable for you. If you're sitting there listening to um, legendary, managers and people that are either young and innovative and pushing the industry forward through tech and innovation and marketing and all types of just like new and fresh ideas, or whether you're a legacy manager and you've been there from the ground up, you've built clubs from scratch and ground up,
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
seen 100 tournaments, you've seen countless special events, you've won championships yourself as a pro, like it's valuable. Veteran knowledge and wisdom is priceless. And we
Hmm.
want to have a good blend of it on within our guests, a good blend of that wisdom, that young and that old wisdom, in our guests moving forward. What
Yeah. Yeah.
else?
Well, I'm really looking forward to these conversations too, right? Because it's about amalgamating all this info that all these men and these women have, right? That run these golf clubs and their years of experience and giving them a voice, right? Giving them a chance to really voice what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, and the way that they're growing with the industry, because this industry, like I said, it's constantly evolving, right? You can't be stuck just sitting there doing nothing. You need to be moving forward, right? So other things we'll discuss with them, the biggest challenges in golf club management today, and how leading GMs are adapting and innovating. We'll discuss the biggest revenue leaks at golf clubs and how to plug them, right? It's about profitability. We'll discuss the future of golf club technology, and we want their opinions on how AI and automation are reshaping the industry. We're both looking forward to these conversations, and we know our listeners are going to get a lot from them, right? So this is important information we were really looking to share here. If you know of anyone, or you think we need to have, if anyone you know or think we need to have on the show, please let us know and we'll reach out to them directly. If you know them personally, feel free to recommend us to them so that they can listen to the show and decide if they would like to be a future episode guest.
Yeah, exactly. I think the recommended the referrals, right? If you're listening
Mm-hmm.
to this and you know anybody, like as our audience grows and our listener base grows,
Yeah.
100 people, 200 people, between all of you listening right now, you got to know one person who's entertaining, who's informative and educational, who is someone that you'd love to be a fly on the wall in conversations they have,
Yeah.
with others. We'd love to chat with them. And if you know them,
Mm-hmm.
please let them know about us, let us know about them. And yeah, we're pumped about I think for me personally, I think this is going to be some of the best content we'll produce. It'll be the most educational for me. Like I said, I have a lot of gaps in my knowledge of the golf industry that I'm excited and looking forward to continuing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But also to teach, right? To also educate some of these guys about some of the tech that they may not know anything about. They may not have been paying any
Sure.
attention to, or they might be paying attention to some of it, not all of it, and it'll just be really exciting conversations, entertaining, educational.
Yeah.
And yeah, so let's dig into a little bit about the future of golf club
Sure.
management. Brad, you've worked in golf for 23 years. Where do you see golf clubs going in the next 2 to 3 years, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 5 years and beyond with automation and AI? Where do
Mm-hmm.
you see this tech having the biggest impact and biggest influence based on all you know about it right now and all you know about golf?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question. I see a future where AI in golf is handling ideally kind of 80% of routine tasks, right? Things like answering phones, processing reservations, sending member communications, right? This ideally, right? This will let golf club managers focus on growth, strategy, and member experience, free them up from those kind of mundane tasks that are taking up a lot of their time. This would also allow for staff at golf clubs to focus on member relations, right? I touched on that before, and constantly building an incredible club culture, right? So club culture is a massive buzzword in the industry. It always has been, it always will be about what type of club you're running, what the culture is you're trying to propagate there through your staff, through your members, through the programming, through the quality of the golf course, the quality of the food, all that stuff goes into your club culture, right? So that's going to be a massive touch point. I think that a lot of these general managers, industry experts coming on will want to touch on and talk about, right? And again, it's not just about replacing human effort either. It's about enhancing it. Very, very few staff will be replaced by AI in golf, right? This is not and should not be the goal of adopting AI in golf. This is a human game. This is human beings hitting golf balls around. This is human interactions. That's what we want here, right? It's a social game. It should always be to make staff more valuable to members and management and maximize the member experience. AI can provide insights that help GMs and managers make smarter decisions, reduce waste, and run their clubs more efficiently. That's the idea here.
Yeah, right on. And it's exactly that, man. The clubs that adopt technology now,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's already they're already on tech. They already have technology they've adopted. But the ones
Yeah,
that adopt this AI tech now, even in the smallest application of it, will be ahead of the curve.
yeah,
And they don't have to adopt all the tech. Like golf clubs are not competing, how you say, they're not, they're a fragmented industry. Clubs compete with other local clubs.
sure.
Like Rosedale is not competing with like Vancouver Golf Club. Like they're in the same industry, but they're not competitors because it's not the same local market. So
Mm-hmm.
some clubs can get away with minimal tech adoption.
Sure.
But it's the ones that don't do anything at all that are gonna struggle. that are gonna,
Oh yeah.
at the very least, like you said, the club culture, it's the brand, right? The ones that don't adopt any tech now at all and resist this entirely right into the future. There might be a niche. There might be a golf niche that says we're the anti-AI golf club,
Yeah.
and they have customer base that just loves it. But we'll cover that in another episode. Is the different the generational gap, right? The
Sure. Sure.
differences
Yeah.
in generations and
Yeah.
how they don't have the same wants, they don't have the same preferences and same values. So it's just a matter of time, right? You're just delaying the inevitable if you don't at least do
Hmm.
something to integrate with this technology that's going to give you disproportionate gains in your club. You don't have to
Yeah.
have the GPS maintenance hardware automatically, doing your whole greens. Like you could do that, but you don't have to. You know,
Hmm.
the I think the voice, the customer service, the voice response receptionists, AI receptionists, these are some of the simpler and less invasive and less risky options to adopt.
Yeah.
But there's, so much more. And you got to get ahead of the curve with this because
Yeah.
being behind the curve, you're just reacting. You're in a
Hmm.
constant reactionary um, mode rather than a proactive, seeking out solutions and being a trendsetter, being someone that has
Yeah.
the ability to then say to their members, we were ahead of the game with this. We spent time, we made sure that we knew exactly what this tech could do, and we adopted it proactively for your benefit because we knew it could help you.
Hmm.
Right. And so those that don't do this, they might can struggle to keep up. Right. Clubs that reject this tech outright, they won't fail overnight, but over
No.
time, they will definitely feel the squeeze from the market
Yep.
expectations, the evolving market expectations, and the competitors that are leading the way. Right.
Hmm.
So for you, those of you listening at home, we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. We got through most of our points we want to cover in this episode. It's really just want to introduce ourselves, introduce the show, where we're going with this, what we hope to cover, so that you can get an idea about, why you directly benefit from listening to this. If this all sounds like a lot to take in right now, do not stress at all. Um, it will, like anything, it's a learning curve. The beginning, it seems like, total new language, and over time, it becomes more second nature. Doing
Hmm.
anything is better than doing nothing. This is what we'll always say. Pick a low-hanging AI fruit and start getting
Hmm.
wins there with that. There
Yep.
are there's legit bad times to start doing things, to take on new campaigns,
Oh, for sure.
new uh, policies or strategies. I won't ever say that there aren't bad times to take action, but there is never a perfect time. There's never a perfect stars align time where, we have to wait for that perfect moment in time to take action. If we do, we risk missing all the bounty and all the lessons and all the value that action brings, even if it's imperfect
Hmm.
action, even if you
Yep.
stumble a bit, right? So my advice is learn. This is all new to you and you're overwhelmed by it. Learn, listen to our podcast, listen to our other episodes, let's read our blog, uh, jump on a call with us. We'll be happy to have a demo call, try our software, but educate yourself and then have a bias for action and speak with others that are ahead of you. If you know anyone in the industry who's using any software like this, ask them about it, ask how their learning curve went, ask, what they would have done differently if they had to go back and implement it again. You'll figure it out. Eventually you will figure out how to take advantage of this AI thing for golf, for your specific club, for your specific applications and needs. Launch without perfection, launch and experiment imperfectly, build it over time. It's like we're doing with this podcast. It's like I always recommend to every business is that the 1.0 version of any product or any business is never the perfected version. You have to
Hmm.
ship. You have to ship by a certain
Yeah.
date and you got to get something out there. You got to test it and you got to improve it over time. That's what we're doing with this podcast. It will evolve and improve over time. We want your
Yeah.
feedback. The thing about feedback is that doing things imperfectly and then getting feedback from your stakeholders. So you, our listeners, we want feedback. Please give it to us, how we can make this podcast better. But your members, talk to your members, get feedback from them,
Hmm.
ask them,
Hmm.
Is there any way you see AI and automation helping us in our club operations? Find your most loyal, uh, oldest, most loyalist members who love your club and would love to see it succeed for 100 more years, and ask them.
Hmm.
Just say, what are your thoughts on this? If we did implement this, what would be the most um, the way and the use and the applications that would be most resonant with our brand, with our culture,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How would you like to see it in a way that's tasteful, that's done in a way that acknowledges our core members and how they want to interact with it? Do they don't offer anything they don't want, but also don't take their word as the gospel truth, and that you need to do whatever they say all the time, because sometimes people are stuck in their ways and they don't know better, and sometimes their feedback is invaluable and you should listen.
Yeah.
So I would say imperfect action, seek feedback, test the waters, and constantly learn. That's about all I got to say about that.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better to start learning and experimenting now, right? There's nothing worse in my experience than a member coming to you and showing you something that you should have known as an expert, right? If somebody brings me something, and this can just go technology wise, if they bring me a new product, a new golf driver, golf ball, something like that, and they're like, "Have you seen this yet?" And I'm stuck there, and I haven't seen it yet. There's nothing worse than me having no knowledge about this, right? So you want to get ahead of this stuff. You don't want to be blindsided by that member coming by. They obviously care about their golf club. They want to see it move in the right direction. They want to see that that what needs to be done for it to move in the right direction, right? So you always want to stay just that step ahead of your member. Use them as a good sounding board. You want to know their feedback, obviously, and you want to know that they care and they're involved in the process. But you always want to stay just ahead of them, so when they come to you with a question, right, it's so much better to be ahead of them than get caught with your pants down, right? So because you don't want to be blindsided, right, by the impact of this trend in the coming years, right? So if you're tempted right now to turn a blind eye and pretend like this isn't happening, you will regret it, right? So before we wrap up, we want you to see AceCall.ai in action. So please call our toll-free number at 1-866-838-8581 and try our voice AI assistant for yourself. It's amazing. It's a live demo of what our AI can do and how it can help you never miss calls again at your club. That's monumental. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow our blog. We'll be dropping new episodes and articles regularly to help you stay ahead of the AI game in golf. Also, subscribe to our newsletter as well. We'll share stuff there that won't be released to the public. That's it from me, Clay.
Right on. Yeah. And all these things, Brad said, they're in the show notes. They're on our
Hmm.
website. You can find
Yeah,
all these things. We really do encourage you to engage with us across the platforms that you use.
yeah.
Definitely get on our newsletter if you haven't already. And we will be sharing lots of content there. And try out the bot, like Brad said. We'd love to chat with you more about it. And so that's it. Thank you so much, Brad. And that's it for today. This episode 1. Welcome to the Ace Call AI podcast. And that's it. Enjoy. Have a good day. We'll see you in the next one.